Welcome back, everybody, to X's and the U. I am ex-president of the Sons of Ben, Matt Kandazik. I'm joined by ex-head capo Adam Booth, and of course, ex-player and forever Union legend Sebastian Latou. We might be exes, but we are your experts in covering the Union, and it has been a roller coaster of a ride. Strap in, everyone. This is episode number 59. Adam, Seba, how you guys doing after a big Union win?
What is winning? I forgot what
Feeling good. Nice to get the first one.
Yeah. Seba, you were out there. Let's just kind of go through, oh Lord, the history making of the Philadelphia Union, and when I thought we might at one point have to switch our focus from covering the Union to covering Bravo. I was going to have you guys start watching Bravo, and we were going to change the whole pod, but now the Union are winning. But they are they created some history. The last game against Charlotte becoming the first team in history of the league of their to start a season 0-6 after winning the Supporter Shield. So they went from best to worst really quick. Let's just briefly talk about Charlotte, then we can get into the good stuff with Montreal. So if you guys can remember way back when we had a 2-1 loss to Charlotte, the Union go down a goal. DJJ brings them back, and then the D breaks down. It was just one of those games down there in Charlotte. Adam, you want to go back to the Wayback Machine and talk about it?
I don't really know what the situation is with the Union and playing in Charlotte, North Carolina, but seems to be a running gag of just not performing at a high level in this football stadium. And the team was already not doing well to begin with, but to come up with that type of performance where Charlotte by no means looked good, but the Union just were kind of grasping to even look good themselves, and even the elation of tying the game and getting a goal was quickly extinguished by the designated player of Charlotte. And it's just that game in a microcosm. And I definitely believe if we had this podcast last week, I would have had a different energy towards that game altogether. But it definitely was at the time, a microcosm of what this team has had to struggle with this whole year, which is if they will play from the back, they've never played with a lead until the game we're about to talk about in a minute. And once they get down that first goal, even though they did tie the game up, it just seems like this team gets dejected in a way where trying to muster up the game tying goal, trying to muster up an attack, it just doesn't seem to manifest itself. And, you get the game tying goal. Again, I'll point out probably later in this podcast, it's not by a forward who's scoring the goal. And it's been consistently not the forwards for the Union scoring the goals. So that's another conversation that kind of only needs to be had in itself. But look, Charlotte's a nasty place to play. That field is not the best. That is it's a decent Charlotte team. It's not one of their better ones, but it's a decent enough Charlotte team. To not get a result down there was disappointing, but it was in line with how the season was going, so it wasn't that far-fetched at the moment. But they're gonna have to figure out something to do with the other Queen City, because they got to get over the hump in that town eventually.
Yeah, Seba, your thoughts on going back to Charlotte and that 2-1 loss?
Yeah, I'm gonna go quick. For me, first half terrible. Nothing really good to think about. It was pouring rain, like for 25 minutes. But yeah, kind of nothing to, let's say, positive about the first half. And then second half, I think was much better, having us, pressing high, being more ourselves, getting back into the game. But then you saw, like, just after scoring, we get the goal against, and everything, is kind of like getting off, the energy of the team, and kind of like, here we go again. It was kind of like the feeling of, oh, everything is not against us, but guys were not feeling like they can win that game, and it was kind of like the feeling you have, like, not being positive and everything. Everybody kind of being, let's say, angry at each other when a pass is missing, when somebody misses a tackle, or to the referee, lots of foul, yellow cards, whatever it is. But yeah, it was a better second half for sure against Charlotte. But it just the way we are playing. I think the first half was like we cannot put too much pressure on them, and it was just too easy for them to play through the line and score their first goal. It could have been 2 or 3 in the first half, and luckily Andre makes some save, and we had some luck. But yeah, it was very very disappointing. But then yeah, another loss, and yeah, that's it for me. I'm just happy about what happened this weekend, and we saw a much better uh, second half of the Union. Still the first half not good, but second half now we saw a different mentality.
Yeah, definitely two different games. Just the one note I have is the Union have allowed the first goal of the match in all 6, scratch it, 7 other MLS games. We've oh, it seems like going into halftime they're always down a goal. But they're maybe we've turned it. So let's talk about it. We got Montreal. Seba, you made the plane ride out there. Cold, rainy, wet, miserable Montreal, and they were only 2 positions ahead of us at the league table at the time of the game. But the Union win. Jeff, I guess that's what they're calling Jeff, scores the first free kick, and Bueno scores. So yeah, it was refreshing to say the least. Seba, you were there. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was the weather was not too bad, I have to say, for the game. Like a 2:30 kickoff. It was a bit cold for sure, but no rain, which was nice. But yeah, kind of again, like the first half, I feel like we start slow. We are a bit like like sloppy and defensive, like not marking a lot, especially on set pieces. I feel they was always free, like always winning the ball when they had a corner or a free kick, and on the goal, like the same kind of like not on the same page defensively. Macania covering, Jaime is number 10 of Montreal who got the goal, but it should not happen. I feel it's on our own. We are not as sharp defensively. There's still a lot of stuff we can do and be better at in any part, I think, of the game for the team. But defensively, it's a big struggle right now. Like 7 games, and every game we are getting a goal against. That's something that really we need to be better, because you cannot give a goal, every game, especially against Montreal. No offense to them, but they are not good. It's really like they were not, doing anything like crazy to, push and make our life difficult. So we needed to win. It was. I think we were much better than them on paper and the way we play, but we had to kind of get a big reaction, and we saw in the second half. I feel like in the first half we were kind of scared to try to put the ball in the box, but every time we did, especially at the end, it's where we got some chances, especially like with Bueno and Westfield, with 2 shots, one on target, great save by Gideon Bueno. Second one was Westfield, in the box, and just miss, the target. But every time we try to play in the box on a free kick, we were dangerous. Montreal were very bad defensively, and we did a lot of free kick, like short, where every time we get counter and the ball never really enter in the box, and it was a kind of who is going to play the ball? Why are we not just challenging them and putting some pressure? And then second half, total different. First free kick we got, boom, we play the ball, in the box, and very happy for Jeff or Jaffet, Seri, who got his first goal for the Union. Like very, very good guy, I think, coming here in the team. Some pressure, I think, for him as well to step up as a center back. But I really hope, that goal is going to, bring him a bit higher up in his confidence and, keep playing well for the team. But he did good, like a great goal to bring back the team right after halftime. And then Bueno goal amazing as well, like from coming from deep, like we need those runs, for our center midfield. We saw Denley last week. Now this week is Bueno who's stepping in, and for Denley who was injured and not able to play and get the goal. So very happy for both of them. But yeah, we saw more like a team in this second half. I think everybody kind of work hard, didn't let Montreal kind of come back. We make some defensive play at the end. Guys who came in like Alado got an assist for Bueno as soon as he came in. He got an impact. I think he was positive, and I didn't see like too many guys who, even for example Alado not being
happy, to start. I think he came on and he was like, okay, I'm going to work out for the team and I'm going to help win this game. And just the reaction I saw as well as at the end of the game, even if you can see all of them on the on Apple TV, it was just everybody was really, really, to get that first win, but together, you can really see even when Bueno score, like what he meant, like okay, let's fucking go. We got it. We are almost not back, but the feeling like you are looking for after losing like six game, it was kind of very nice to see and feel that from the player, and even on the way back to in the plane, it was much better than of course the past game. So a lot of positive, but like I said, still probably like a lot of work to do because Montreal was maybe not the best team. So we need to keep working hard, making sure we are much better defensively, and hopefully now forward can step up a little bit more and start going as well. So still a lot of things to change, but those 3 points felt great for sure.
No doubt, no doubt. And let's make a note: Montreal's manager no longer there, so we could have been having a totally different discussion if we didn't get that win. Adam, your thoughts on the game? I was watching it via the phone because no bars in Philadelphia wanted to play the game.
Well, first off, take all of their, direct TV and or Apple TV cards away from these people, because that is atrocious to not be showing, even though we are at the moment not that good at soccer, or the local soccer club. But look, for me, this match was a must win, for a multitude of reasons, not just for any semblance of chance at playoffs this year and trying to compete, with the rest of the Eastern Conference. That looks interesting. I'm not exactly sure who's going to be the real true front runner of this conference, but we shall see. But you definitely needed this to establish yourself again. I could personally cut the Union a lot of slack, not a lot, but a little bit of slack for their schedule. Their schedule to start the season, I would say, was not necessarily the biggest gauntlet ever, but was not easy. You had a lot of decently tough opponents to start the year, a lot of games on the road, and it just kind of kept coming up: one goal loss, one goal loss, one goal loss. So you can almost say, in some chances unlucky, some chances just outskilled and outclassed. But this was a game that, for me, if you didn't win, you have to really think about what this season was going to amount to. Because if you were going to start the season out 0-7, it just seems like, I don't know who has ever done that and has turned their season into something interesting. Not to say it wasn't possible, but it would have been a really, really tough mountain to climb. So it's good for them to get the win. It was good to see Bueno get the ball in the back of the net, and also for Siri to get the ball in the back of the net. I need my forwards to score some goals. I don't know if that's a tough thing to be asking at this point, but I want to see the people that we are paying the most to score goals for us. Because that at the moment, that's where I think, if anything, the Union fan is a little troubled by the lack of production up front. And because defensively, and shout out to Nathan Harriel getting a new contract. Defensively, this team hasn't been atrocious. They've had letdown moments, and I think Charlotte was a letdown moment on the second goal for sure. But defensively, this team has been solid. Andre has been solid in net, all things considered. Offensively, they have been challenged. And to get 2 goals on the road is a big deal for them. But this has to be something that builds upon it. You have DC coming in this week. You're going to hope that they, who are also reeling at the moment, are an opportunity for you to grow, maybe even start something that resembles a streak. Because this season, it's weird to say, doesn't hang in the balance in April. It can't. But there's definitely a lot of it that is on a tilt right now. And it's going to be interesting what the next couple of weeks bring for this team. Because truth be told, if they can ring off 2, 3, 4 wins in a row here, they might find themselves right back in the thick of it all of a sudden. And that can completely change the philosophy of what you want to do in July for the transfer market, what you want to do in terms of training, what you want to do with U2. there's a lot that can be done in the next couple of weeks to change the trajectory of this season. So I'm interested to see, how they approach this home game coming up.
A couple questions for Seba, since you're around the team more than we are now. The mood of the team and the players between Charlotte and going to Montreal. A lot of club player only meetings, guys bickering, they yipping at each other at practice, or what was kind of the mood with the guys from Charlotte coming up to Montreal?
I mean, I heard from some of the guys that they had like some team meeting, like players only, to talk about kind of a lot of the mentality we saw during those games, of the frustration happening, and the quality and the fact that some guys maybe didn't play at their level, kind of getting out of their chest what they wanted to say, for especially like the leader of the team. But we are kind of looking for that for this team, is who are the leaders, and who are the one able to help the newcomers to the team, and the one who are going to try to help when it's tough. And it was very tough. So I think they had like two meetings last week, kind of getting a little bit more communication between them to see how they wanted to attack last week to practice before Montreal. And what I saw when I was on Wednesday was it was hard. They were kind of kicking the shit of each other, like playing hard, like yelling, complaining, kind of in a good way sometimes, and sometimes in a bad way as well. But it was you can see the live in training, and wanting them to, hey, let's fucking go now. Let's stop. Thinking about maybe last season. Now we are 1-6. We need to win Montreal, and it was kind of like how this week was. And luckily, he he resonates more in the second half, and you saw a reaction. So it was important, I think, to do that for them, as a team, because when you are 1-6 and you come back from Charlotte, it's always easier to point the finger and say, yeah, this, and that's the defense, that's the offense, that's the midfield, that's the guy who played well last year but are not playing well this year. So I think everybody had a good look in the mirror, try to have an auto-critic on themselves, and then just went back to work. And like, it was kind of surprising to see Bender, starting on Saturday against Montreal. But I think the coaching staff and Bray Carnell saw that he was probably one of the best at training and play hard, and where was here for the team. So he got the start. I feel like it's kind of something to notice, because he didn't play any minutes, a little bit as a left back, when he come on, I think the second game of the season at home. But other than that, he never played as a number 10, and he play. Of course, we didn't see much because first half was not good, and he came out after 15 minutes second half. But he worked out. You can see he was really running, helping defensively, doing his job, and it's what you need. You need to grind. Those moments, and they were like really together. And I think the discussion happening this week for sure helped.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I did want to bring that up to both of you. I was shocked Ben Bender starts. And the other thing I'm wondering is, how is Bradley going to get Bueno more time, get Kevin more time, all this in the midfield with this glut of, I guess it's a good problem to have, but how's he going to balance this? And do you think Bueno has earned more time now? I mean, I don't think he's going to replace Danley, but what's the options? What can Bradley do to juggle this around and get these guys more playing time?
For me, I mean, if you ask me, like, what I was going to put as a starting 11, I would have put Danley starting, and Bueno and Lukic against Montreal. When I was at practice, Vasiliev got a little injury, so I was not sure he was going to start. But I will have seen, if Vasiliev don't play, play Danley more as a 10, but kind of tell him, hey, you have the freedom to, help defensively. Bueno, you can go, because we need those runs, those late runs from the midfield, and we saw twice, we got goals from it. So, and Bueno and Danley are kind of the type of player, kind of vertical, box to box. He kind of give more freedom to Danley to, okay, if I lose the ball, it's not a quick counter attack with just our defender left. So yeah, I will not mind seeing Danley in some let's say, capacity as a number 10 sometime, or an extra, we put it 10, but maybe can help as well more defensively. So yeah, we have some possibility to do that. But what I love about Bueno scoring, he just kind of, all right, like you say, yeah, I think he deserved to probably start again, on Saturday against DC. So he kind of give now at practice, okay, who is going to be the best to play Saturday, and who plays Saturday need to play well. Otherwise, the guys who didn't play will start the next game. And it's how healthy it is in a group, and we saw it last season when the guy push each other at practice to get the best out of the one we start, because they know that behind them there's a guy who is hungry. So I think it's healthy, but yeah, Bueno for sure. I think for me, mark a lot of points to get another start on Saturday, because you can see like his energy the entire game.
Yeah, Adam, your thoughts on how Bradley can juggle this lineup with some of the talent that we have, and how some people are playing, and just especially with the midfield.
Well, I completely agree with Saba that there's a lot of depth here. I think the irony about this season is I don't think anyone's looking at the Union and saying there's a lack of talent here. There's definitely a bunch of players who can play for this team. And when you look at a guy like Jesus Bueno, who's been here, he's now creeping into one of the longest tenured Union players, as long as he's been here playing behind Martinez, now behind DJJ, and he's waited for his opportunity. The man is hungry, and the man does have a knack for goal, and it's something for which right now, I don't know if Bradley can definitively say, this is my best 11 with any 11 of the guys he has on the field. So you have to experiment. You have to figure out what are the combinations that are going to work here to get your season kick started. I think one of the criticisms that we always gave to Jim was his lack of transitioning and his lack of substitutions. But there was something about that lineup that he understood. I can rely on these guys. Now, they might not always perform, but 8 to 9 times out of 10, this will be the best 11 I put out every game. Right now, I'm not sure the Union know what that best 11 is. So I say for now, you have to give these guys opportunities to play, because if it's successful in any type of capacity, kick the tires on it. There's no reason not to, because you're not really in a position to just say, stay the course. You have to do something to shake this up a little bit, because not everyone's going to be Montreal. You definitely cannot take this win and just be like, great, we're back on track, everyone, just stay the course, go back to practice, and let's do it like we usually do it. You still have a lot of work to do to get yourself back into this competition and multiple other competitions as well. So I look at the idea of Ben Bender getting into the lineup and I say, good, figure it out. Figure out what Ben is best at and figure out where we can put him best, and figure if he deserves extra minutes like that. Figure it out with Jesus and all these guys in between, because when you're 0-6, 1-6, you can't gamble about stay the course. You have to try. You have to experiment, especially coming off of a season like you did, because the expectations for this team, even though they don't have the superstars or they don't have the traditional players that would make you say ooh and ah, it was still really high. And if they want to reach that potential, they're going to have to put a lot more wins together, and not just a comeback win in Montreal, that probably shouldn't even have been a comeback in the first place. They should have been probably trouncing them since the first kick. To answer your question, long story short, yes, you got to rotate. You got to rotate these guys in. You got to see what you have in this midfield. You got to see if you can put Milan up front, and maybe that helps more. Make sure that, and you got to figure out a way if and when Quinn Sullivan comes back, how does he fit? Because it seems to me that this team is drastically missing his creativity and his ability to create runs right now.
Yeah, and I mean, you bring that up. Quinn should be back after the World Cup break, and we're going to see how that fits. So there's a lot of moving parts, and I think, like everybody else, we're kind of figuring this out as we go, just like I think Bradley is. Before we get into DC, a couple of things in the news item I wanted to bring up. You were talking about superstars, Adam. The French World Cup winner, Antoine Griezmann, gonna go to Orlando. So I don't know. Will Seba get us an interview with him? All in French, maybe. We'll see. I don't even know when we play Orlando. I assume we will see him. We play later in the year at home. So yeah, September 26th, we may see him in the US of A in Chester. So Orlando's in 13th place. We'll see how that works. Congratulations to Nate on his new deal. You mentioned that briefly. And then also congratulations, Brandon Comiskey, equipment manager to the Stars. 500 games was, I believe, that was in Charlotte, right, Seba? That was his 500? Yeah. So
Yes.
501 in Montreal. So congratulations, a friend of the pod, Brandon. Good job. And let's see. On the Ernst Watch, I don't know if you saw this, Adam. The dupe and delinquents are having a call to action to bitch at your ticket rep about the Ernst situation. So do us a favor, don't bitch at your ticket rep. They got enough problems. And then the Sons of Ben sent out, and Adam, did you get a copy of this? Maybe the worst survey I've ever seen in my life. I don't want to, I always said, I'm not going to trash. I'm not going to be the former president that trashes it. One of the most leading, worst written, poorly executed surveys I ever saw. I didn't even finish it. I had to email them. You couldn't get to write other. It was just bad. And I'm hoping everybody just kind of like, it's over, let it go. Like Elsa said, let it go. But, it probably won't go until he gets fully back with us. Adam, you want to say something about the survey or not letting it go? I think you're muted. Adam, I can't hear you. I'll filibuster until you figure that mic out, buddy. But World Cup news, guys. Legislation has been passed by our governor.
I saw that.
The bars are allowed to be open late. This is going to be a nightmare. Extra 2 hours during the World Cup.
I mean, whatever. For all of you people who don't live in Center City, good luck. Thank you. Because for us who live in Center City, good luck to us. Because my God, this is about to be, it's going to be a lot. But to answer your earlier question, before my microphone decided to, maybe it was the feds. I don't know. Maybe someone was trying to cut me off before I spoke any things. But from the sources I've talked to within the club, who obviously choose to remain anonymous because they are sources, our sporting director probably said those things that we think he said, and that's going to be an interesting thing moving forward. I'm a person who, at a lot of things, I'm like, look, I don't really give a crap up to a certain point. It doesn't sound great, and I don't know how he's going to be received when he comes back, if the information gets out the way that it gets out. But look, I want success for my soccer team. I don't want it at the expense of my dignity. But I will say that something has to happen in terms of transparency about what's going on here, because for me personally, the more that is not brought to light in terms of like what was said and the context of what it was said and why it was said, it feels worse, right? Like the not that the cover up is worse than the crime, it is not. But it feels at this point, we should know. We should know. We as the audience should know what the individual has said. And the fact that we don't on a public scale bothers me a bit, because there's transparency in a lot of these other leagues around the same subjects, and we don't have it here. So that's my gripe. Outside of that, that was a bad survey. I think whomever is doing communications with the Sons of Ben, we can talk. I'd like to talk to you. I've done many a survey in my time, many a social media in my time. We can talk. I'd like to get us back to a place where I find it's a little bit less egregious. But those are just my thoughts on the subject. I've always been a person who knows that my opinions are not always the most popular, hence how I got into these positions in my life in the first place. But look, I'm disappointed right now. If what I've been told is true, I'm disappointed. And I don't necessarily need everyone to get fired who says a bad word in the history of mankind, but I would like a little bit more transparency from my club on the subject, especially when our fan base is made up the way that it is. That's all.
Well, we will see, because we will be on Ernst Watch until June 2nd and beyond. Speaking of your past, congratulations to your former intern, Adam. Monet Davis joining Banana Ball, Philly's own. She's going to be playing for the Indianapolis Clown Slappers or something. I'm not sure.
The history of which, shout out to Philadelphia legend Ryan Howard for helping revitalize the Indiana Clowns. They were originally, I believe, a Negro League-based team. So bringing back the history of that is a really cool element to Banana Ball. I've been lucky to see a Banana Ball game myself. Seba, if you have not seen the Savannah Bananas, it's definitely worth the price of admission. It's a really great version of baseball that they conduct there. It's like the Harlem Globetrotters, but if they occasionally still lost. So like the drama of they actually may lose this baseball game comes into play. So,
well, I don't know if Monet's going to do any lip syncing, so we'll have to see about that, because I didn't see that with the Philadelphia Phoenix. But congratulations to Monet. It's going to be interesting, but I don't think they're playing anywhere around us this year. I think Reading or Wilmington maybe, but I'm not sure if the Indiana team is coming anywhere near us. I believe the Bananas are coming to Wilmington, and I think the Lehigh Valley, but we'll get into more of that later. But yeah, that was and the last rumor, and I guess Seba, you've been there. Do you think Neymar is going to like Skyline Chili? Because the rumor is Neymar is going to Cincinnati. I don't see him digging Cincinnati that much. What do you think, Seba?
I don't know. It depends about the price for him, I guess. I don't know.
I feel like he's got enough money.
Yeah, but maybe he wants something new. I don't know. It's maybe he's going to live in Miami and just go to play for Cincinnati. Who knows? I don't know. I don't think he will, but we never know. After the World Cup, a lot of things can happen.
Yeah, a lot of stranger things have happened. And speaking of stranger things, guys, we've got DC at home. DC's coming in. Who wants to go first on predictions, thoughts? Oh, they're pointing at each other. Seba, I think you've got it. Have you started your prep work for DC United at Subaru Park?
No, I did not. I just, I like DC. It's a team that good memories. It was my anniversary, a couple of days ago of my hat trick at the Link. So, we always like to play DC at home, and we need a win. It's not Montreal win was good, but we need to get a back-to-back, and the first one at home. So, DC come at the right time. I don't think they are good. I think we are better than them from the first game. Alado got the red card in the first game and didn't help us. But even at 10 against 11, I think we are still the better team. So I just want to see energy, just beating the crap out of them and just get the 3 points. What I would love to see is the first clean sheet as well. I want no goal against us and have a great performance. I think everything is make for it. And I just want to have 6 points after that game, and now we can think about the road trip to Columbus and Toronto the following week. But we have to win. There's no a tie would be not good enough. I think we are better team than DC, and we should get the 3 points. Of course, we are going to maybe see Baribo coming back, even if he didn't play last weekend in New England. But I really think it should be 3 points for the Union.
81 degrees on a Saturday night in Chester. It's going to be beautiful. Adam, your thoughts on DC coming in? They're ranked in 9th right now. They're in 9th place. They're not that far above us now.
To do rankings this early as a true barometer is no. Seba was 100% correct. This team is a red card away from probably at least tying, if not beating DC in my eyes. They're not that good of a team. Baribo has 3 goals in 6 games, which shout out to him. The man has a knack for finding the net. But I definitely believe that if you are going to accomplish anything this season in a true manner, that this is a game you have to win, and you have to win in a way that is convincing. Look, it's hard to score goals in football. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that scoring 3 to 4 goals in a game should be expected. But I'm saying this is an opportunity for you to establish yourself, to put yourself back into the conversation as a team that can compete in an Eastern Conference right now that has, some people at the top, but your top 3 teams or your top 4 teams right now are Nashville, Chicago, Miami, and NYCFC. And outside of the Lionel Messi show that apparently can't win at home yet, I don't really see any of those teams to be so much ahead of you talent-wise. You have an opportunity to still get your way and claw your way back into this conversation, but you have to start Saturday. It's a must situation of 3 points. And this is the perfect opportunity to do it, especially now that you've lost to DC recently. So you have that monkey off your back of like, all right, let's start a new win streak against them. Let's reestablish the dominance again. If you can take any momentum from playing north of the border, you got to manifest it into DC this week. And pro tip, the Union, I don't think have won a game against any team that plays in the United States of America. So this is a really big moment for us so far this season. We have to make sure we come correct. I suggest wearing the light blue jerseys instead. Just wear the light blue jerseys. It doesn't seem like the 1776 kits are working out too well for us so far. Wear the light blue jerseys, wear the lightning bolts. Maybe we'll catch them off guard and get ourselves a deal. Get ourselves a win here.
I'm sure Bradley's taking notes right now, and Comiskey's cursing you because now he's got to do laundry.
If those jerseys weren't already washed after the Montreal game, come on now. There has to have at least a sequel. Like MLS is not when Seba was in MLS. They at least have to have a couple of more pairs somewhere in there,
We will see. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. Saturday night, 7:30, Subaru Park. It's going to be a beautiful day. Seba, you're doing the radio, I assume?
Yep, I'll be there with Dave.
So you'll be at Union Yards early, kissing babies, signing autographs, taking pictures, and all that good stuff?
Maybe we'll see. Depends on how my wife is feeling.
Yep, we're getting close to baby Latu soon, so we'll be on that watch as well. Guys, do we have anything else that you want to mention, bring up, plug, talk about?
Just want to give a shout out, to the U18 for winning the Dallas Cup, a couple of weeks ago. They did very well and beat Botafogo in the final in PKs, losing 2-0 and coming back 2-2. So I was, with them for a couple of days, and they did very well. So yeah, it was great to see them bringing the cup back to Philly.
Awesome! Congratulations, Adam. Anything left?
Frisbee starts soon. Go check them out if you like. If you're down in Aston, I believe the season starts May 2nd. We're going to have 7 home games this year. I will be at like 2 of them. So if you're looking for the Adam Booth experience, I will not be there, but it's still worth a good time to head down there and see the jerseys I made too. They look fire.
Let me know when you go. I'll join you.
Please come on down. Also, obviously, hopefully by the end of this podcast and when it gets out to people that good things have happened, but let's go Flyers. Let's go get this playoff spot either tonight or tomorrow, because it's been a long 5 years since we've seen these boys play a playoff hockey, and there's nothing like the Stanley Cup playoffs in my eyes, man. That's the best.
Exactly. And if you see me in person, ask me about Wrexham. I just got back from another trip there, and let me tell you, that town's awesome. The team didn't look so hot, but attended a training session with Phil Parkey, buddy. So yeah, all kinds of good stuff to talk about through True Fan Travel, but we'll get into that at a later date and let you all know about that. So I will bore you with my Wrexham stories.
Last details. One, shout out to all my Italians out there. I feel for you for not qualifying for the World Cup. I want to I'm so sorry. That's my wife refuses to look at a soccer ball right now. It's incredible. I feel so bad for the Italians, but yeah. Also, one quick shout out to Bridge Brigade. I've been following them, following you two so far this season. They've been going to Montclair. They went down to Carolina. Like they've been going all over the place. So shout out to the Bridge Brigade. Real respect for the lads.
Good job, kids. All right, everyone. This was episode number 59. We're getting into the Social Security era. It's episode 60 coming up. And we will be covering the DC win. We'll talk about Toronto, Columbus, and then the next home game, Nashville, on that pod. And of course, we'll have Ernst watch and Baby Latu watch to talk about. So, guys, thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.